Today's recipe calls for bell peppers. We're going to make stuffed bell peppers with a bunch of other goodies, so stay tuned to see what other goodies I'm talking about. The first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 350. Next, we're going to cut our bell peppers in half. I went with 3 different colors because I wanted the variety. You can stick to one color, or you can do multi-colors like I did. I find it easier to cut them in half. Once we lay it down on the cutting board, you'll find the flat spot, making it easier to cut so it won't move around on you. And we're cutting them in half lengthwise instead of cutting the tops off. This makes it easier to fill later on with all of our goodies, but it's really up to you. Next, we're going to grab a paring knife and we're going to cut out the seed pod. We want to get all the seeds out and take out any of the white membrane that we see. This stuff is bitter and we don't want any of that bitterness in our bell peppers. What gives these bell peppers their color is they have more time to ripen on the vine compared to the green ones. They are a little bit more expensive, but in the end I think it's worth it. Then we'll go ahead and clean all of our bell peppers out. I find it easier to use a paring knife because the paring knife is able to get into tight spaces like this instead of using our large chef's knife. If you do use a paring knife like this, just be careful. You don't want to accidentally put too much force and it slips and cuts your hand. We've all been there. Now that you got the seed pod out, it's important to give it a once over to ensure that you got all the seeds. The seeds like to stick to the bell pepper because it's slightly wet, so the seeds will adhere to the inside of the bell pepper, especially at the top. Because nobody wants to crunch down on one of those seeds and hurt a twofers. Plus, you heard the old myth, if you eat seeds, then you start growing vegetables in your stomach. You know, like the myth that they used to tell you when you ate watermelon seeds. Then you can tap your bell pepper on your cutting board. This will help shake out and tap out all of the seeds. Now that you've cleaned all of your bell peppers, you can use a sheet tray or a baking pan like this and put them all in your pan. Then we're going to grab some extra virgin olive oil and lightly coat all of our bell peppers. So just a very small drizzle on the inside of each bell pepper. Then use your little fingies and start to rub the inside and the outside of your bell pepper. This will help coat them so we can pre-bake them. We're going to pre-bake our bell peppers so it cuts down on the baking time in the end. This is a bit of a cheat method, but it's so worth it. You want to make sure all of your bell peppers are coated evenly so everything gets a nice even par bake on them. Then if you don't feel like the outside of your bell pepper was coated well enough, you can throw some extra oil on the outsides of them and give them a quick rub. Once everything is nice and coated, we're going to throw them in the oven like this, face down. Par baking the bell peppers like this really helps out. Instead of baking for 45 minutes in the end, they'll go ahead and bake for 20 minutes. I really recommend doing this. This will help out so much, especially if you're trying to make a quick weeknight dinner. Then we'll par bake them for 15 minutes. Now that our bell peppers are in the oven, we're going to use a large pot. I recommend doing a large pot because we have so many goodies to stuff our bell peppers with. This will make your life so much easier. We're going to throw in about a tablespoon of cooking oil and turn the heat up to about medium. We'll go ahead and let our oil heat up before we move on to the next step. Now that our oil is hot, we'll add 1 whole medium diced yellow onion. Either you love onions or you hate onions. Once you cook an onion, it takes away the pungent onion flavor. So if you hate them, just go ahead and cook them. Try them cooked and they're delicious. You can't taste them. Then give everything a nice stir up to ensure everything gets coated in our oil so we get a nice even cook on all of our onions. We'll go ahead and sweat those out till our onions are nice and translucent. Then we'll season with salt. It's a good rule of thumb to add salt every time after you add something. Just a small pinch, not too much though. Now that our onions are nice and translucent, we're going to add 1 pound of ground turkey. You can also do beef or really any type of protein you would like. I went with turkey because it's a bit different than any of the other recipes and it's a bit healthier than beef. So go ahead and cook all of your turkey. Break up the meat so everything gets a nice even cook. Then again, hit it with a small pinch of salt or 2 pinches. Then stir everything to ensure everything gets coated in salt and everything gets coated in our fat. If you need to add more oil at this time, go ahead and add it. You'll notice that your turkey will release a lot of liquid, which isn't a big deal. Do not try to strain any of the liquid off. Just keep cooking the turkey and it'll reduce on its own. You want to reduce it to about a quarter of what you started with. This liquid will help ensure that we have a nice, juicy bell pepper. If you cook it until it's completely dry, then you're going to end up with dry turkey. Once it's reduced down to a quarter cup, we're going to add half a cup of frozen corn. You can do fresh if it's in season. Then stir everything together. Then add 1 can of black beans. You can use any beans of your choice. I really like black beans, but if you do use canned beans, make sure you use the beans that have no salt. Then we'll add 1 cup of packed brown rice. I used the brown rice from my brown rice pilaf video, so if you haven't seen that one, go ahead and check that out. Or you can use a pre-made easy microwavable rice, but using this stuff is way better. Then we'll add 1 can of roasted tomatoes. Then I strained our tomatoes. You can use some of the liquid from your tomatoes to bring more flavor and make the turkey a little bit more juicy. I didn't add the juice just because I wanted to ensure that we didn't overcook our turkey. Then we'll add 3 to 4 minced garlic cloves. Then give everything a stir. At this point, we're not doing a whole lot of cooking. We're just combining all of our ingredients and mixing them really well together. Then lastly, we'll add 2 cups of spinach. We add this last because we'll ensure that the spinach holds its structure so it doesn't completely break down in our pan. Then we'll season everything to taste with salt and pepper. It's best to use fresh ground pepper because it's a lot fresher when you grind it yourself, and it helps release some of the oils that the peppercorns have. Then stir everything together to ensure everything gets well mixed in, and give it a taste test to ensure everything's good to go. Now that our timer's gone off, we'll go ahead and pull our pan of bell peppers out of the oven, and we're going to let them rest for a few. This will make it easier to work with later on. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and grate some cheese. I went with pepper jack just to keep the whole vibe of the bell peppers, and it adds a little bit of spiciness. You can use mozzarella or cheddar cheese for this, or some Colby Jack. Really, it's up to you on this one. That's what's so awesome about these things, is they're so versatile. You can mix and match and throw anything you want in these. You could even make them vegan or vegetarian. So grate your little heart out and make sure you don't grate one of your little fingies. Now that your bell peppers had time to rest and cool for a bit, grab those suckers and take them over to your workstation. Now that we have them on the workstation, obviously we're going to go ahead and start stuffing them. I found it easiest to use a spoon, so you can grab a large amount at one time. You can always throw down a layer and then put a layer of cheese, then more stuffing on top if you choose. I didn't do that, which may have been a mistake, because who doesn't love cheese, right? Then use the back of your spoon to pack in the goodies. You want to pack as much of that good stuff in there as possible, so when you go and eat one of these, you get one nice, fat, full bell pepper. It is a bit challenging to stuff them inside the pan. That's why we went ahead and let them cool down a bit, so we can grab them by hand. This makes it so much easier to pack them and stuff them. And this is why we cut our bell peppers in half. This looks more aesthetically pleasing and a whole lot easier to stuff the bell peppers when they're cut in half like this instead of cutting the tops off. Then if you're using a spoon, you can turn it around and round off the top of your bell pepper so you have one nice clean mound of goodies inside your bell pepper. Of course, stuff all your bell peppers. You may end up with some stuffing left over, but you can always eat it as a snack with a tortilla while your bell peppers are baking. Now that all of our bell peppers have been stuffed, we'll go ahead and top it off with our pepper jack cheese. Put as much cheese as your little heart desires, and do your best to get as much of the cheese on top of your bell pepper as possible. Don't worry about it getting into the pan. It'll have a little bit of oil, so it'll make it easier to clean later. And this is what they should look like. Next, we'll go ahead and throw them in our oven on the middle rack. This will definitely start to make the house smell good. Next, we'll set a timer for 20 minutes and do our best to wait patiently. All this work is really working up an appetite, if I say so myself. While our bell peppers are baking and making the house smell so good, we're going to make a chili lime sour cream. If you like sour cream, give this video a thumbs up. And if you don't like sour cream, go down to the comments and use it as a therapy session on why you don't like sour cream. So let's get started. In a medium-sized bowl, we're going to add 1 cup of sour cream. I find it easiest to use a rubber spatula to scrape the insides of the cup. It ensures that we get all of our sour cream out of the container. Scrape the rubber spatula on the side of the bowl. This will help get all the sour cream off the spatula. This is the same method we used in the matcha pound cake video. It's a great skill to have. You'll use it in multiple recipes. It ensures that you don't waste any of the good stuff. Next, we'll add about 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder. Then roll your lime out. This helps break down the membrane inside the lime, making it easier to juice, and it ensures that we get as much juice out of the lime as possible. We use this method in multiple videos, like the sparkling blood orange cocktail. Then use all your might and squeeze as much juice out of your lime as possible. It's easier if you had a little juicer, but oh well. I'm trying to show off what little strength I have. Then grab a whisk and start whisking everything together. You don't have to whisk your face off for this one. Just whisk until everything is well combined together. I forgot to mention that we only used half of the lime. Play around with this recipe. It's not set in stone. This is a nice little base. So make sure you taste it, and you can adjust the flavoring by adding more chili powder or the whole lime if you choose. I wanted more of a lime flavor, so I juiced the entire lime into our sour cream. Now this is what our bell peppers look like. The cheese is nice and melty and delicious. I can't wait to try these. Now grab your favorite plate and your favorite plating spoon and the sour cream. Throw a bit of sour cream on the plate and give it a nice swoosh for that aesthetic look. Grab your bell pepper and throw it on the top. You can garnish this with some parsley or some extra cheese or some hot sauce. It's really up to you. So go enjoy. Alright, let's give our bell pepper a try. Overall, the texture is really nice. The bell pepper is nice and al dente. Some of that cheese got a little crunchy because it got a nice toast on it. And then there's a bit of a crunch from that corn. It's a really great mouthfeel. The turkey is still nice and juicy. Overall, it's really flavorful. But let's give it a try with the sour cream. The lime juice and the sour cream help cut through the richness of the turkey and all the other good stuff that's in there. Helps balance out the whole dish. And it adds a little bit of spice to it. Overall, it's really good. Alright, that's it for this video. These bell peppers are like one of those choose your own adventures kind of book, because you can throw anything in these things and they're going to come out delicious. These things are great to serve the whole squad on a weeknight, or to have as meal prep, or to serve at a party, because you can make an abundance at once and serve them all at one time. All you need is a little bit of patience is all. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and also find me on Instagram at TaylorMakes92. I gotta go walk around the block a few times because I gotta work up an appetite to eat all these bell peppers. So I'll see you on the next one. A ton of other goods, so stay tuned to see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the other goods. Talking bell peppers with brown sugar. Alright, that's it for this video. My battery's gonna die.